Hi there. You're listening to Shaff Dives You Crazy podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Shaff Dives You Crazy, where we delve into the stories of individuals making a significant impact in their fields. Today, I'm honored to have someone who I call a friend. He is Shin. He is from Thailand and he's a photojournalist and marine biologist based in Bangkok. His journey began with a passion for marine biology, studying community-based coral reef restoration and shark fisheries. Witnessing the detrimental changes in marine environments, he transitioned into conservation photojournalism to tell the stories of our intricate relationships with the oceans and the natural wonders that we need protection. Shin collaborates with organizations like IUCN, Save Our Seas Foundation, and Ocean Conservancy. His images have been featured in National Geographic, the Smithsonian, Time, the New York Times, and The Guardian. Recognized as a National Geographic Explorer and an Associate Fellow of the International League of Conservation Photographers, Shin has received numerous accolades, including the Ocean Photographer of the Year award. Beyond photography, he remains active in the scientific community, co-founding Thai Sharks and Rays and contributing to shark research in Southeast Asia. Let's dive into Shin's inspiring journey and the stories behind his impactful work. Welcome to the show, Shin.
Hey, hi, Shaff. Yeah, I think I should cut my bio down so make it easier for you.
Really?
Yeah, I feel bad when you just need to read through all that. And
It's all right. Look, it shows people how good you are, famous you
thank
are.
you.
So, what are you doing right now? You are in Bangkok now.
I'm in Bangkok right now. Yeah, just got home.
All right. From a project?
Yeah, I have many projects at hand. I just finished a very quick shoot yesterday. So I just got back home very late, last night from Phuket. Yeah, just back-to-back shoot. Now I'm just having a very easy day in a coffee shop with nice strong coffee.
So, no sleep at all.
I think 6 hours good, but yeah, it was the best sleep I had in a long while. I think we all love to work our ass off and just knocked out and just wake up the day after and try to think of something to do, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's the best.
Yeah, if I get 5 hours sleep, yeah, I'm lucky and it's good.
Yeah. And I think it's good because we know each other for a long time. Yeah, we are getting old and old people don't need that much sleep like young people anyway.
It's just a number, man.
Yeah.
Can you tell the listeners how your interest in marine biology developed and what led you to pursue it academically?
Right. I think I'm a weird kid. I love books and I grow up watching lots of documentaries. So I like marine life. I love sharks to the point that when I was young, I went to fish market with my parents and I saw baby sharks in the market. So I asked them to buy those sharks to keep them in the freezer because I love them. I want to see them every day. Yeah. Yeah, but that it was when I was a little boy. Maybe something possessed me or somehow. But yes, sharks are cool. I want to see them in the fridge until my mom threw them away because they got stinky. But when I really got into serious into this was when I think it was when I started diving. I started diving in New Zealand. Not not I'm interested to see marine life, but back then I was a poor student. So I do fishing, getting some fish to eat there because I spent most of my money on game center, playing Tekken, King of Fighter and stuff, Counter Strike. And yeah, I didn't have much to eat. So me and my friends, they often go out fishing to get something to cook. And for diving, I saved up money to catch crayfish. Yeah, we have underwater hunter course in New Zealand. So yeah, I started diving there, and in the end, I didn't really get to catch lobster because the diving trip was too expensive. I didn't plan for that, but I got diving experience there. And then when I came back to Thailand, diving here is so much better than in New Zealand. It's cold, dark with all the current. But when I'm gone back home here, clear water, tropical coral reef, that was a pre-bleaching, pre 2010 bleaching. So everything was still pretty good back then. And yeah, I think like that really changed the future, like, and my to what I do now. Because back then I was doing a medical degree. I was studying to be a doctor. But after diving, I just like, wow, I just want to spend the rest of my life like being out there, seeing all the beautiful thing in the field, doing something like this every single day instead of like being in the hospital every day. So yeah, I changed to do environmental science and then more focus into marine biology. That's just like, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. How long did you keep the frozen baby sharks in the freezer?
Oh, I think like a month or something. I was young, the childhood memories tend to be a bit murky and obscure. I don't exactly remember, but I brought it to school. Like, I think, yeah, that was like what kindergarten year. I brought a shark in a plastic bag, frozen shark, and it got very stinky. But I brought it back home to refreeze them again. I had spot tail shark and hammerhead shark. I also had tiger shark. So I think like I had 3 little rotten sharks in the freezer.
Thinking about it, that right now, what do you think? Like going back into that?
I hope that my parents should take me photo of with those sharks. It's gonna make it easier for me to do my presentation. I have only a photo of me, like maybe 2 or 3 years old, carry a dead ray in the market, but not a shark.
What inspired you transition from marine biology to conservation photojournalism?
I think it's a gradual process. I start thinking about that when I first read about the work of Thomas Kashyap. Do you know Tom Kashyap?
Yeah,
He wrote in his website about the concept of conservation photography, about like how the focus more is to drive policy change, to communicate like all these issues, like more than just to make it more accessible for people to be aware of what's going on. I think it's a smaller niche, a subset of nature photography, but this has more like policy driven goal, a bit more focused on that. And I think like, oh, that is something that I'm very interested to, because I just started photography around that time. And I also noticed that most of my work, either on coral reef or shark research, tends to get more interest from the people than my own scientific papers. So I think, yeah, okay, I did some science work. My work got used on some policies, let's say the protection of the hammerhead sharks in Thai waters. Yeah, that was based on my master paper. But in reality, it doesn't change, because instead of the widespread, like the visible scene of like sharks landing everywhere in fish landing site, they just turn more into like what black market obscure trade instead. But behind the bank, the exploitation is still the same. And the fisheries issue is much more complex. Not only the rules and regulation can fix that without like addressing the other aspects like legal enforcement or and and transition of the whole industry. So I need to reach more people, and that's based on what I read from Tom Petchak writing. I gradually move more and more.
and have your photos made an impact on that?
Yeah, I mean, some photos like cause a widespread awareness in local level regarding fish feeding. Some photo that I took, a few photo that I took like close some area after like it got like used by marine scientists like to communicate this issue. Yeah, so it closed some areas. Some photo was you lead to a creation of MPA. But it's not just from the photo itself, it also come from like the effort of many people, like marine scientists and conservation that use like those materials to drive for something. It's not only the photo itself. It's combined effort of many people, and I think like I try to address to find my niche in those conservation effort by that visual communication. Conservation is never like from one or two thing, but I like this quote. Conservation is a team sport. It's like many people work together, and I think like that quote is so awesome. It's a team sport. You can't work on this all alone.
That's true. I've seen like during the time we got to know each other, I've seen your photos in a lot of magazines, and then there was some that was pretty interesting when the Bangkok riots wearing a gas mask and taking photos
Yeah,
right through the tear
yeah,
gas. How did
yeah.
how was that? How was that feeling?
It was very interesting time, but it's like I have no other option, and I think like it was a good move because back then when COVID happened, I didn't have a job at all. It's like conservation work, no client, or no nature shoot, or conservation NGOs that commission me to do work. So I had no job. I have nowhere to go. Back then, I was already a Nat Geo explorer, so I got to know an opportunity from Nat Geo called COVID Emergency Fund for Journalists. So everybody can apply for that, and I got that grant to do COVID story. So I photographed throughout the pandemic, like when so many dead bodies like fell into the morgue. So I got to shoot many things like COVID emergency response and stuff. And by chance, that leads to the Bangkok protest. I just like, yeah, I didn't have anything better to do. I didn't have like job, so I just like photographed that for a friend who is working on a human rights NGO. And yeah, so I just said, yeah, I have nothing else to do. And that is better than stay home and like consume all the resource without income. So I just started doing that, photographing protests back to back every day. Every day, like let's say like photographing like 12 days straight. It gives me so much to learn to do info journalism, just more than in the past, my approach used to be like just visualize a frame and spend so much to create that specific frame, like news photography like this. It teaches you to be more flexible and improvise and make the most out of like those moments to diversify your frame to be able to fit into one story. So yeah, running through tear gas every day, like dodging Molotov cocktail. I think run away from tear gas. I often run through the tear gas because like that's where the good photos happen. And it teaches you a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
And you love the smell, I bet.
During the first time I got hit with like it's a tear gas laced water from the water cannon. They were shooting protesters with that, and I thought it was like just normal water. So I fine, it's all right. I'm gonna be fine. So I run into that and photographing people getting shot with like water cannon. And then just like maybe a few seconds later, I just couldn't breathe. Yeah, it's like I felt like I was suffocating and my tears like come out. I thought I was gonna die back then because I thought it was water. I didn't have a tear gas zone. Yeah, some protester like dragged me out from that. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like you just like what breathe in a whole pack of pepper. Yeah, that's kind of sensation later on. But after you get like tear gas for so often, like every day, you kind of have like that an acquired taste for that sensation. So later on, after a year or two of doing like what those protests, with all my gas mask on, I can breathe now. I often run into the gas myself to feel that stinking sensation on my body. That was like, wow, yeah, that hit as fuck. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, gas is fine, but I don't like cherry bomb. I hate Molotov, and I hate like when I got shot in the face with like rubber bullets. Yeah, but I have my gears. It's all good. But I don't like being shot. I just only love the tear gas. It's fun. Funny, after you do it for like a year or two, yeah, something changed.
Um, okay, gone through a lot of fish markets as a photojournalist, going through
Yeah.
at the beginning of your career
Mm,
as a
mm.
photojournalist. Like, was there or is there a specific moment, like, or something that kind of solidified your decision to work on conservation photography? Something that you saw?
Yeah, it's not like that specific frame, but it's a gradual and progression, the feeling of seeing like it was during my master year when I was doing my master. My thesis is about like the shark fisheries in the Andaman Sea. And I collect data for a few years and I have seen the gradual decline of sharks. Not gradual, it's like quite sharp. It's like, okay, the first time I went to the fish market, I saw like 200 or 300 hammerhead like laying on the street. Yeah, that's in one day. And it happens like quite a few days that I was there. It's like normal scene back then. So it was at the peak of landing of sharks in Thailand from commercial fleet. So yeah, that's where we got the most landing from sharks when our fleet was catching the most. During that time, when I just started my master, when I went to the fish market, the number I just see like sharply decline. There is hardly any sharks. There is hardly any shark. All those species do not exist anymore, like different from like few years back. That is like what really leads me to my paper about like the change in the landings of fisheries, how sharks are declined. And I compare with the statistic from the Department of Fisheries and stuff, and we just see like what massive decline, like 90%. And this is something I want to get more people to know about because my paper was used on some policies. That's true, but I don't think that is enough. And that was like that moment of that I want to focus on the photojournalism. So it's not like from 100% biologist to 100% photojournalist, just like gradual shift back and forth between like these two careers. And I got that opportunity when I was doing my master from Nat Geo Thailand because I submit my own work when I was working on coral reef conservation with the communities to their annual competition. They were interested in my research, offered me a chance to do a photo story during my master. Yeah, that topic became my first story for the local edition of Nat Geo. And that's kind of like that turning point where I shift more my effort into photojournalism. And then that year after it was published, I got a grant from Save Our Seas Foundation. So I received mentorship from Tom Pesha. And that leads me to like kickstart my momentum in this career. Yeah. So I own Tom a lot.
Wow. You just said you used to see hundreds of hammerheads and
Yeah.
sharks in the fish
200 or
market.
more, or two or
Okay.
300. Yeah. Yeah.
And like what other species were there?
Oh, I saw some treasure. We have like that pelagic treasure, the pelagicus. We also see like big eye treasure, Basileosus. Many big sharks and many such diversity, like so many species back there. But when I compare during my film work time, 2014 to 2015, I've been visiting the market since 2012. So I go there every year, many times. When I compare it to the data from 2014 to 2015, we barely see any big sharks anymore, big species. And if they exist, they tend to be like the smaller juvenile, smaller size. Majority of the landings are like small sharks, like the bamboo sharks, whaler sharks, the calcarinus. So we had a decline in the species diversity in the landing, and majority of the big sharks are not present anymore. We tend to have like small juveniles, baby sharks instead. So it shows there are signs of overfishing on the shark population, essentially.
And now?
And now we have some change because in 2015, the EU pressured Thailand for our fisheries because we had so much problem with the IUU, illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing. And so Thai fisheries need to improved a lot on that, and there was a huge effort on that. But we do not know whether like the shark population in the Andaman Sea are recovering or not, because the landing site and fishing boat do not really show sharks at landing site anymore. They just retain in the boat and send to the traders directly. It became like essentially like a black market because they just don't show them, no drama, no public outrage. But it also means no data collection. It has been like that for like 10 years now. Often lack of data. We just don't know what is happening.
So you never know what's going on, right?
We do not know. Yeah, we just don't know. It's going to be hard for them to. I think recovery is a possibility, but we just don't know. And if recovery will be happen, that's gonna take like a few decades based on the generation time of shark and rays that tends to be very slow in terms of reproduction, population recovery. We just don't know because it's like a black market now.
Yeah, even in the Maldives, it's a black market because shark fisheries was banned in 2009, and you saw like a huge increase in sharks in the sense of population of sharks. And but now and then you get the customs catches some people trying to smuggle shark fins, shark meat. There are sometimes huge amounts, tons even. Day before yesterday, a friend of mine sent me a video on which was on social media about on a local island, one guy fishing out a silver tip right on the jetty and bringing it onto the land.
Whoa, that's illegal, right?
Yeah, shark fishing and finning is illegal. I mean, sharks are protected species. But the thing is that nothing really happens. That's the funny part about it. Even with all this evidence, nothing really happens. No investigations are done, but there's no outcome from
Right.
it's just taken under the rug.
I wonder, a fisher, like let's say angler, caught a shark. How is the issue being handled in the Maldives? Like they cut the line and just release them. It's fine, right?
Yeah, that's what they do now. I know a lot of fishermen. I mean, a lot of my friends do sport fishing and all that. What they do is they just, if the shark gets caught on the line or if they pull it up, they just let it go. Take it up. If they can remove the hook, they do. Otherwise, they just cut from the closest part of the mouth and then just.
Yeah, because I think like the sport fishing communities are so important for research, and I don't know about like how it's happening on your end, but I think like the agreement, like the cooperation on the sport fishers there is it's already good there, like how they cut the line or cut the hook. In Thailand, we have another very interesting issue based on our local context. That is, let's say we are a Buddhist country. So fishing is like causing harm to animal, and sport fishing communities tend to get like so much hate from the conservation communities or internet people. I find it's very sad for them because in many countries, like, the data for management of the area to uplift protection or management are from sport fishers, and but for here they get so much food. So yeah, it's something like that I'm trying to work on to get more sport fishers involvement for data collection to drive for area management later on.
I have a friend who is doing sport fishing in South in Addu, and he on and off sends me videos of mako sharks coming after the tuna they catch.
Oh, that's so cool. And you're going to be going there with him.
I hope I can one day follow. He's asked me to join him next time I'm in the Maldives, but let's see. I would love to jump in the water to take some photos of a mako.
Yeah, I think that it's a very good story about like the predation by mako shark. Yeah, tuna. This is cool.
I'll
It's
send
a
you that link.
depredation.
He even uploaded it on his Instagram. I'll send it to you. Talking about your projects, you've done so many, so I'm just gonna pick two: sharks, predators in peril, and Thailand's MPAs, last hopes of Thai seas. Which stands out to you and why?
I think sharks for sure, and it feel very very personal, and I don't think I can ever escape working on the shark issues here. Yeah, it's like I don't know. I love to tackle all the different projects, try to find something new to get some new inspiration to learn something new, but I don't think I can ever escape like working on sharks.
Yeah, like me. I just want to be in the water with sharks or do something that is
Yeah.
related to sharks. Right now, I know there are quite a few marine scientists there in the
Mm.
Maldives researching sharks, but I'm talking with a friend if we could start something as well on the research project. But let's see. I'll just see how it goes in the next few months and make a decision.
Yeah, I want to hear more. What will you be doing? Because like, there's so much potential considering like how you have that protection in your waters.
You mean regarding the shark?
Mm.
I just want to know the numbers and how many different species any researcher wants to collaborate on something, the behaviors. And because of this, two places now in Formula and also near
Mm.
Male,
Mm.
because of this many amount of sharks around in one single dive site. And I just want to know how we could try and do something there, like making it a safe place somehow. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because there's so many ideas that are coming up, but I don't know how and what I could do.
Right. I mean, like, you can do many things, there's a thing called graph-based remote underwater video. You can do it around just like to see what kind of, just to describe like what can be found in which area, this and that. So, I mean, like, it really like brings out those species around there, go there. So it's a way to study like those species occur in terms of like tracing the amount. It's going to be hard to say how much are they around, but we can have something to suggest it by looking at the trend to see those trends. Okay, I think you can base on the sighting, but in many places that to trace the abundance of shark, they use fishing related research like long line, trace the amount over time. Yeah, I can send you the article later. I think they just published a few days ago about like 15 years of doing surveys in the US and what have they learned about like the shark in the water. Any idea?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I can do. And also, you saw the video from Indonesia with the white shark.
Oh, that's so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's Indonesia. I wonder if I know they are passing through the Maldives because I've seen a report on Nat Geo of a tagged white shark passing through the Maldives.
Is that Nicole? The shark named Nicole, is that it?
I can't remember the name, but they published in one of the magazines even with the map. I'm sure they'll be around because you got orcas in the Maldives. So probably they'll also be around somewhere.
I guess they gonna be in the cooler water. Is there any place like with a very strong upwelling?
In the south, most probably, because it's going through this from Africa towards Indonesia side. There's a current going, so
Yeah,
most probably there, and it's colder.
because in the Indonesia by default it's like no submeter with strong upwelling
Yeah.
to water. Yeah, so we need to look into like some area like that in the mountains.
Yeah, most probably they'll be around. I'm like 60-70% sure. Oh well, let's see. What are some of the challenges that you face when capturing photos in marine environments or even at fish markets?
I often okay. Like I in during the early days I find I can navigate very easily because like yeah, I was collecting data and I talk to people like just be honest about it and just be respectful and I spend times like not photographing first and just like to know that community. So that's often takes time and that make working later a lot easier. And that is even more important these days. Back then, like, yeah, I was a young student walking in a board short, like ugly slipper and yeah, old t-shirt, just walking, carrying like data collection tools and a camera walking in fish market. I go there like every day. But these days it would be even much more important because in the fishery stuff can get pretty sensitive in Southeast Asia, let's say Thailand, because like how the sharks trade become more like fish market, like essentially black market now to get access to landing site. Like um, many people who want to do that those kind of stories go there, they just get blocked. They got chased out from the landing site. So it depends on the way you approach the site and how you navigate. It's like fixer skills. Do you know have that connection or connection or to be able to navigate through like sensitive issues? Yeah.
I posted a photo of cut up manta ray recently on Instagram that was taken in Sri Lanka
I saw that one.
fish markets. Yeah. I mean, we had hundreds of mantas and a lot of. I haven't published or uploaded most of the photos. I just did that one. And I just wanted to know the reaction from the communities. But that early morning, when we got threatened quite a number of times by the fishermen, it was a bit challenging just getting close. And
Yeah.
some people allowed us. That's how I got close to the mantas and all this. But some, they just block us or threaten us, waving the machetes. And
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, it just yeah, it's never the same. Each interaction to get like that kind of shot. It's just how you navigate that. Like quite recently, I just got a very good access into the what is called the fish meal factories, like where they get all the baby fish, like, undersized and bycatch and grind into fish meal to be mixed into animal feed. It's like that is super super difficult to access. Yeah, and yes, but I didn't think I would be able to got in. But yeah, it just I work hard on that access. Yeah, so it's just like how to navigate all these access.
that must be pretty, like, I don't know
Yeah,
how to say it, like, not that easy to have.
not easy, and it's like to navigate all these access. I didn't lie, I talked to them, but choosing the word diplomatically. Yeah. Yeah. I think that is like the key thing how to navigate that diplomacy. And I don't think I'm good at that, but it's because it requires so much RAM in my head and my brain feel burned just like think what to say to be able to navigate all these access.
Did you get any good photos out of it?
Yeah, I think it got some. It's like and not thousands of baby fish, like even economic species, are being ground into tiny powder.
Okay, so are they like put it into these machines while they are alive or once they are dead?
So the process of making fish meal, so it's like they have a huge pit and they just like throw buckets of fish into that. The fish that are not really fit for human consumption, but we have them caught in the fisheries because we use like very small mesh size in non-selective gear, like trawling. It's very different from the Maldivian tuna fishery that is like very well targeted and sustainable. I think so I really admire how you have got whole and live fishing things going on there. It's like the way forward how we manage to how humanity from utilize the sea if we keep that like quota, strict quota, those selected meat. Doesn't really have much of that here yet.
I know it's really difficult to navigate, especially in photojournalism, the ethical considerations when taking photos or documenting sensitive subjects or vulnerable communities? How do you do that?
I often really think very hard and discuss with or talks with colleagues. Depends on the topic. In each story, I need to think very, very hard. How do I approach these before I even go out to the field? And things very, very hard to write the caption, how to not unfairly vilify them or things too. Yeah, I need to spend time to learn more about them and connect with that community themselves. Even they may do things that I do not agree with. Like even in Myanmar, with like the place where they cut up like hundreds of devil ray to do the gill rakers. I spent time to sit there, and I wouldn't say that what they are doing is right because like devil ray, they are cited species and they got across the border illegally to their final destination. It also need to look back into like the state of like commercial fisheries Southeast Asia. They are like the only culprit on that. The picture is much bigger. So I think if you spend time to learn about the big pictures and try to write the, let's say, second sentence or third sentence in the caption to be able to tell the bigger pictures, I think like that's sort of like what you can be able to do, like giving it more nuance and make people to understand the issues, not an easy place to dump their head and feel good about themselves for the day.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's difficult. Right?
It is difficult.
For me, even seeing the cut up mantas and all the sharks was like, I don't know. I was on two minds. Should I take photos or just walk out? In the end, just had to go and take the photos.
Yeah, I think it's a good shot though. Nice lighting.
It was very dark, so
I like it. Very well composed frame.
thank you. Okay, you've won a lot of awards and honors. How was the feeling when you won Ocean Photographer of the Year?
I was shocked. I was on when I learned the news. I think it was on my birthday when I saw the news. Yeah, also, and I was working all day in. I was in Japan working on a bee parasite story. It wasn't. I wasn't working on a marine story. I was like, but going into forests, like photographing bees, chase down hornet and things. And I was so dead tired. I saw it when I was checking in at the hotel working all day, just eating from convenience store food and saw the news. It's like celebration for my birthday. So it was good.
And
Yeah.
did it influence your work a lot later after that and give you more opportunities?
Ah, I don't know. Yeah, because yeah, I mean, like it's good to have recognition when people like start to following more of my work. But most of that, uh, I really appreciate all that recognition. But in these day and age, most of that didn't lead to that much, let us say that much job opportunity because the client these days are limited already or places that hires you or commission you to the world. They are often like know me already. So it didn't lead to that much new clients, but it's also a good place where people get to learn about like all these issues. So I'm happy about that. But in terms of like new work, new opportunity, not that much. But that doesn't really matter also. It's about the pictures and the narrative, the whole complex issue that these pictures can lead the audience to be curious about and learn about. That's all that's matters.
Wow, all right. Uh, what about giving talks in Bangkok? You've done TEDx talks in Bangkok and Hong Kong. So how do you
Yeah.
how do you approach public speaking? I'm very bad at
Be
speaking.
honest, I'm saying it on record. I hate public speaking. I hate it so much. I hate to go out in front of people and just like going out stutter and just like my legs shaking just seeing all the people. It's so scary. I hate that shit. But it's a part of the job. I think like I don't like it, but I think if when the opportunity arises, when it's not a reflection, it's not like your main work that people know who you are, but it's like a gateway drugs to have them more interest into what you are doing and learn more from it. And if they learn more and they became interest to be able to learn and advocate it more for whatever they think. Yes.
I know the feeling. I sucked when I did my first talk at edX in Singapore. It was bad.
It's so scary.
But after
Yeah.
that, it just improved. And again, with this podcasting, a lot of my friends are like, "Yeah, you're not a podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I've been keeping it for like 2 years now, like
Mm.
not really recording anything or not even launching it. The whole Shaff Dives You Crazy thing has been on for 2 years in my
Wow.
head. It's like, okay, yeah, if I don't start, it's never gonna happen. And I'm not trying to become famous or do anything or get anything out of this. It's just trying to talk to people who I find are making an impact in whatever fields they are in. And it's fun right
Mm.
now.
And yeah, I think you are very good host. And yeah, you clearly look at this and say having casual, but be able to bring something deeper out. You're good at this. And I think it's very important to try to diversify our what is called our work. Like we have like what long form piece somewhere, we have shorter form piece somewhere, and we have different media. And to yeah, for the wide range of audience to be able to learn more about it. I think like on every topic, we all started from shorter form content, right? Before we got interest and dive deeper to the long form story.
Yeah. Another one I wanted to ask you about conservation. From
Hmm.
your personal perspective, what is the current state of marine conservation in Asia,
Oh,
Southeast?
okay. That's gonna be, let's say that could be another 1 hour talk or something. Because
Sure.
like if it's regional, I think like we are get harder and harder. And I know quite recently we seen like that how like the bleaching are affecting more and more frequent. Right now we have a like what bleaching watch alert right now for the scientists here because we have been hit 2 consecutive years straight here. It's more than the fisheries, so it's also like how the planetary crisis is like going into the way that we didn't want to, but there's still also more effort from various parties to try. In the big pictures, I think like we have the science and policy tools and cautionary prediction regarding how this planetary crisis is heading to, but just when is our collective effort going to be enough? I think like that's something to talk and think about, right? It's going to be a long one.
And also now with this president in the US,
Okay.
he's just
Yeah, it's really crazy. Because like I don't only work for marine, I work on like what terrestrial, the pollinator stuff, and some projects got cut the whole funding out, and I was like, come on, man, this it's like pollinator conservation is also important with the whole food security and all the industry of the agricultural process, like stuff like yeah, food and like without those pollinators, like plants, how do the plant gonna get pollinated? And that project is so important, and that got cut down. And I was like,
yeah, I know two of my friends who are doing two separate research funded by USAID,
you said, yeah,
and now the funding has been cut, and they're like, it's just almost not even 50% of their work has been done.
yeah, it's totally a mess.
Yeah. I met one of the USAID reps, an American, last February in Maldives, and it's like they've been asked to pack up and leave in 2 weeks. Anyways, I don't know how
It's
this
the
whole thing's gonna go, but I hope
yeah.
something turns around.
I hope so too. And yeah, we just do what we can for now. Yeah.
What about the community involvements? How important is community engagement in marine conservation?
I think like that's a heart of like modern conservation movement for marine communities because it's a concept of the blue economy how various parties, various stakeholders had their own hand in terms of utilization and management. Let's say we have seen many example from many places. Let's say for Baja, California, and like how the fisheries community like leads to management of MPA, like Cabo Cabo, right? I never been there, but for Thailand, we have the case of Maya Bay, the closure of probably one of the most famous bay of Thailand, and we had the stakeholders agree to readjust their plan to keep that bay from just close that bay and adhere to that regulation. I think that's enough already. But yeah, I think we can just drag all the example all over the world in terms of like that importance. But yeah, in long story short, without getting those community, the people who has a pocket in that resources to help manage in that and collaboration to come up with a guideline or agreement or whatever, it's going to be hard to really manage those marine areas
without the
local communities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you can set up the rules, and like if they don't agree with, and like okay, it's just gonna be like, yeah, we don't care, illegal stuff, and that's going to be it deter the potential for collaboration with the communities to come up with something. So I think like these days, in terms of management of marine area, there are more and more new model like LMNA, locally managed marine area, more than only like I mean like for marine area there are so many type of MPA like no take zone, reserve, sanctuary, particle use marine area, locally managed marine area, and I think like that's becoming more and more prominent in these days discussion for marine conservation.
Sometimes I find that it's funny. These marine protected areas, it's just on paper.
Yes, that's the thing that paper part we have any problem in like that. Let's say for Myanmar or in some area in Thailand, it's the paper part. Yes, example like how like we had the rules and laws there without the enforcement, without the community collaboration to help like who see the benefit of such laws to keep the area because like we have the law. There aren't that many places in the world, especially in the global south, that had the capacity to really like manage or enforce those laws in such a wide area like the sea. So we need like the local communities to be our partners, to be the steward of their waters. Yeah. So just strict regulation. Let's say like for the my hammerhead stuff, hammerhead got protected. No collaboration. What now is like that market. Yeah. We achieve nothing in Netflix room.
What are your future projects? Anything coming up?
I want to work on ghost stories.
Okay.
Because in some culture, like ghost story, like have inspired by nature, the multiple phase of nature, that sense of the unknown, the mystery, the awe, the respect, the fear of elements of nature. That's like our primal connection to like the natural world, and I want to explore into that because I think like let's say we had those science, we had a policy too, as I say, something that be able to trigger our feeling that sense might be lacking. So I want to work on that. In addition, so that's going to be more like my personal work, not doing like some science focus and marine stories. That's just like more like personal work. Yeah, what I contribute.
Ghost stories. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Because in Thailand, not only Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, I think they have a big following, right, of like supernatural movies and horror movies.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We love horror.
I watched one Thai movie. What is it? Shutter.
Always that scary shit. So scary. Yeah, 10.
Yeah, I first watched the Hollywood version and I was like, oh, all right. And then I got to know while I was in Thailand, somebody told me the original for this movie is from Thailand. There's a Thai movie, so we watched it, and it was, oof, okay.
Yeah.
Should I pick up the camera now?
Yeah.
That'll be a good, interesting project you're gonna do.
I just to try to different approach, It's like I've been doing like straight photojournalism for quite a while, but I just wanted to expand my range to have like more creative challenge.
How are you gonna do?
Yes, so I found some concept, and yeah, I'm trying to work into that, but it's not going to be like straight up photojournalism, but I just like trying to explore how do I gonna execute this to be able to show the concept.
Okay.
Just still thinking, it's development phase.
Keep me updated on that.
Yeah, we can chat more, Shaff.
What's your advice on aspiring conservation photographers?
I think the advice that I got from Paul was really good. I try to find your local stories because that it's going to be hard to get some meaningful piece going to exotic place for like a week. All the crazy, spectacular place, like all the crazy action. Yeah, you could come back with a nice portfolio, but it may could work as single, but in terms of like doing stories, you just need something that you can invest your time on to learn more. And this could probably by the angle that hasn't been covered by other people or the insight of that story that make people think you probably need something that you'll be able to spend your time on connecting to experts and spending times to be able to grasp the magic in that story. So yeah, try to look into some local stories.
All right, that's good advice. I think there are a lot of young Maldivians who are trying to get into conservation photography and all. I think I'll get them to contact you if they need advice.
No, but I reply to most Instagram message,
Yeah.
If you don't want to understand the answer, I will answer. Yeah.
I've got two more questions for you, yeah,
Please.
before we end it. So this one, like, what are the 5 items that you always carry with you when you are going out on an assignment?
A camera, a computer, and what else? Okay, camera, computer.
Gas mask.
No. Depends on the job. Depends on the job. I try, yeah, all sunglasses. Yeah, of course, I need sunglasses. We live in tropical countries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your eyes like, yeah, functioning well. Yeah. Well, at this point, I try to carry sunscreen because early days I did not wear sunscreen. I try to use the really safe one. Uh, yeah, because like if you get exposed to the sun for so long, you look old. Now I look older than I should be. Yeah, try to use sunscreen. A bottle of water. Yeah, you need to keep hydrated. Yeah. I think that's about it.
Cool. And the last question. I know a lot of listeners won't like it. Some of the answers I get out of asking this question. But what do you think of what's happening with the shark tank and all these places? The sharks are
Okay.
being in the Maldives.
I mean, like there's a lot of potential for that as probably it could probably be say like the easiest place in the world where you're gonna one of the easiest places in the world where you're gonna see sharks, like have see like all the species and things. But I have been seeing so many videos of like very close call incidents or photos and or even like personal anecdotes from just like Thai divers already, just like a few Thai divers already say that they had like very close call experience. And imagine in terms of like statistically speaking, in the big pictures, how many cases that hasn't been talked about, close call incidents or the cases that hasn't been recorded. I think would lead. It is quite concerning that once it reaches a certain point, like if something more serious happen, or when the social media really pick up some very sensationalized like, incidents where when people change their perception about the Shark Tank, it can lead to the perception of Shark Tank as a dangerous dive site. So before those kind of things happen, I wonder if there's could be like a more regulated process that be able to uh, have it more in control, like instead of like just keep this things going on that whisper in the community, the concern among the people that has been going around. This is becoming more and more these days, right? Not only Shark Tank, but also Huamula. So I think it better be addressed first for the better of the whole diving communities there to keep it like organized to prevent the potential shitstorm. It would happen, it would happen. So just prevent it before it reach that point. And it also do more good for the everywhere else in the world. Because I would say Maldives is like the pinnacle of like shark economy, how much it brings to the local tourism and from keeping the shark alive. And if those kind of shitstorms happen, imagine like what would happen to like let's say the gold standard, the example that we see with would lose that potential, that reputation. And I think like it's not very good for the big picture, you know.
I mean, there are people, friends of mine, trying to put in a regulation or trying to regulate it, making it safe, but it's hard for them because on one hand it's the regulation, and on the other hand it's again their friends, even my friends, who are running these operations, and it's, I don't know, it's a difficult thing for them to control, I guess, and also it's an income, like you said, it's kind of like the major income for some of these dive centers. They wouldn't really be happy. I mean, there's such regulations. I mean, strict regulations. On the other hand, they should do it safe. There are a
Yeah.
couple of dive centers who's really, really good on what they're doing. Like, I only dive with them when I'm there, and how they do it is just amazing. It's really good. I'm not a big fan of chumming and getting the sharks close, but just diving with them, it's like, okay, these guys know what they're doing. Unlike, on the other hand, there are operators who are just putting chum on top of the divers even while they are down there.
That sounds like cooking pot for disaster, huh?
Oh yeah.
Sure. I think like to come up with like proper agreement or regulation, the authorities would be important to really go and talk to about like what do they think, and is there, I don't know if like is the way right now it's like is there put a regulation on them right straight away to spend time then with them and try to adjust based on their feedback on the potential way that they would be happy to. I don't know if like how much work has been done there, but no, I think that it's still important to get those operators to come up like their suggestion and feedback and adjust accordingly.
I think that's happening right now. I think there is talks among the stakeholders and some of the government authorities how they can make it safe because of these videos that are surfacing. So
Yeah, I think like yeah, that's good time. It's like yeah, because they whisper among the global diving communities and other players, right? It's
yeah,
like yeah.
yeah. Hey, Shin, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey and insights into marine conservation and photography. Your work is continuing to inspire people, and it's driving a change in our oceans. So, to our listeners, be sure to check out Shin's work at his website, shinsphoto.com, and follow him on Instagram at Shinaladon. Shinaladon? Really?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Hey, man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope we bump into each other in Thailand
I,
sometime.
I hope so too. Maybe ADEX or like Maldives.
Yeah.
Or like, when I go to the Maldives next time, I'll let you know. Yeah.
Yeah, you better.
Uh,
All right.
Thanks,
Stay tuned
Shaff.
for more conversations with those who dive into the depths of conservation and adventure. Thank you so much for listening.